No one cared for the weak alien woman, but a human made her the warrior they feared. The station drifted at the edge of the star system, gray and broken. It was old, worn, and almost abandoned. Most ships avoided it. Only the poor, the forgotten, and the desperate came here. Among them lived Lyra. She was an alien woman with pale green skin and long silver hair. Her eyes were wide and soft, but most of the aliens who lived there thought she was useless. They said she was weak, slow, and unimportant. They mocked her often and left her to clean scraps and broken machinery, tasks that required little strength or skill. Lyra did not fight back. She had learned long ago that no one cared for her. Her people had been strong once, but her homeworld had been destroyed in a war she never fully understood. She had survived by herself, alone in the stars. The few who knew of her race had either died or moved on. She was the last of her kind, small and unarmed, against the harshness of the galaxy. Every day was survival. Every day was quiet pain. Every day was silence. One morning the station's metal doors screeched open. The sound was loud, echoing through the empty halls. A human transport ship floated in, its hull shining in the dim sunlight that came from the distant star. It was not a warship. It did not carry heavy weapons or armed guards. It carried humans, one of the most dangerous species in known space. Humans were called Deathworlders. They survived on worlds where nothing else could. They fought in wars and survived disasters that would kill others. Even when small in number, humans were feared because they were unpredictable and clever. Adam Brooks stepped off the ship. He was tall, strong, with brown hair and steady eyes. He was not like the other humans people feared. He was an engineer, not a soldier. He carried tools, not weapons. But even so, his presence made the aliens on the station uneasy. They whispered to each other. "Humans are trouble," they said. "They bring conflict." Adam did not notice them. His eyes were drawn to someone else entirely. Lyra was moving slowly down a corridor carrying a broken crate. She did not hear the whispers. She did not see the humans. Her small hands struggled with the weight of the crate, and her legs shook. One of the aliens, a tall, sharp-faced male, stepped forward and pushed her. "Pathetic," he said. "You can't even carry a crate. Why do you exist?" Lyra stumbled but did not fall. Her face was calm, but inside she felt the old fear she always carried. The words of the aliens, the cruelty, the constant reminder that she was alone. They cut deeper than any weapon. Adam stepped forward. He had seen enough. He did not understand why the other aliens hurt her, but he understood what he saw. Lyra was struggling. She was scared. She was alone. That was enough for him. He grabbed the crate before it fell and set it down carefully. "Hey," he said, his voice calm but firm. "Leave her alone." The alien laughed, sharp and cruel.
"Or what, human? You think you can stop me?"
Adam did not answer with anger. He did not threaten with weapons. He simply stood steady, his eyes locked on the aliens. "Down, dead child. Don't need to fight you," he said. "Just back off." For a moment the alien looked surprised. Then he shrugged and walked away, muttering under his breath. Adam turned to Lyra. She was frozen, her eyes wide. He offered her his hand. "Are you okay?" he asked. She hesitated. No one had ever asked her that before. People told her she was weak, useless, not worth attention. And yet this human was asking if she was okay. Slowly, she placed her hand in his. It was small, pale, and trembling. "I'm fine," she said quietly. Her voice was soft, almost a whisper. "You don't look fine," Adam said gently. "Come on. Let me help you." For the first time in many years, someone helped her, not because they needed something, not because they were mocking her, but because they cared. Adam guided her to the ship. Inside it was warm and safe, a place where humans could survive long journeys. He offered her water and a small meal. Lyra had not eaten well in days. and the food tasted like sunlight and life. She ate quietly, unsure of how to respond. Adam watched her carefully. "You don't have to hide from me," he said. "I won't hurt you. I just want to help." She studied him. Humans were dangerous. They were strong, fast, and clever. They killed easily when needed. And yet this human was different. There was calm in his movements, care in his voice. She felt something she had not felt in a long time: hope.
I don't need help," she said softly, almost ashamed.
"You do," Adam said simply. "No one should have to live like this. You shouldn't have to be afraid all the time. Not here, not anywhere." She looked away. The old fear clawed at her chest. She had survived for years by trusting no one. But there was something in his eyes that made her hesitate. He was different. She nodded, slowly. "Okay," she said. The station was quiet that day. Few ships passed, few people noticed. But in that quiet, Lyra allowed herself to follow Adam. They walked through the corridors, and Adam showed her how the ship worked. The machines were strange to her, but she watched carefully. She asked questions, and Adam answered. No one rushed her. No one laughed. As they moved through the ship, Adam asked her story. "What happened to your people?" he asked gently. Lyra paused. The memory was heavy. She swallowed hard. They were killed," she said simply. "War. Fire. No one survived." I barely made it," Adam nodded. "I understand," he said softly. He did not pity her. He did not act sad or scared. He simply listened. And in that listening, Lyra felt something shift inside her. Someone cared. Someone remembered. Days passed. Adam worked on repairs, and Lyra watched. Sometimes she tried to help. Sometimes she failed. But Adam never laughed. He corrected her patiently, teaching her slowly. Lyra learned that humans did not always push strength first. They trained with patience, with thought, with discipline. She had never known that. Other aliens noticed. They whispered and stared. "Why is the human helping her?" they asked each other. "She is nothing. He wastes time." But Adam ignored them. He saw something they did not. Lyra was not weak. She had survived alone for years, and that alone made her strong in ways they could not understand. Strength was not only in muscles or weapons. It was in will, in persistence, in the quiet courage to live when the galaxy wanted you dead. One evening while Lyra was cleaning, a group of aliens approached her. They were larger and stronger than she was, and they had a cruel gleam in their eyes. "We told you to leave us alone," one said. "We warned you not to get help." Lyra's hands shook. She was afraid, but Adam was there. He stepped forward without hesitation. "Step away," he said calmly. The aliens laughed. "Or what, human? You fight for her?" Adam did not move closer. He simply stood steady. "I will protect her," he said. "Leave her alone." The aliens paused. They had heard of humans who fought for others. Few had survived. They decided to leave. Still, their words lingered. "She will fail," they said. "Humans cannot change her." But Lyra had changed already, in small ways she did not notice. Her heart was steadier. Her mind was sharper. She looked at Adam and realized that maybe, just maybe, she could survive without fear. Adam continued to help her every day. He taught her small skills, how to move, how to use her strength in ways she never thought of. He never pushed too hard. He never judged. Lyra began to feel something she had forgotten: confidence. One night, Lyra looked out at the stars from the ship's window. They stretched endlessly, full of danger and possibility. She had survived alone for years. She had feared everything and everyone. And now she realized that maybe she was not weak at all. Maybe, with someone who believed in her, she could become something more. Adam stood beside her quietly. "You are stronger than you think," he said. She did not answer immediately. She just looked at him, and for the first time, She smiled. It was small but real. The galaxy was vast, and she was small. But she was no longer invisible. Someone cared. Someone believed in her. And in that moment, Lyra began to hope. Days passed slowly on the station and the human ship. Lyra followed Adam from room to room, learning small skills and seeing the world differently. Every day, Adam taught her something new. Sometimes it was about machines or tools. Sometimes it was about human ways to survive danger. And sometimes it was about thinking ahead. Lyra had never imagined someone could care so much about her learning. One morning, Adam called her to the ship's training room. The walls were bare metal, and the floor was slightly worn, but it was safe. Adam had cleared space for her to move, and he had brought small equipment for practice. "Today," he said, "I want you to learn how to stand your ground." Lyra looked at him uncertainly. She had never fought before. Her species had once trained in combat, but that knowledge was lost long ago. Her hands trembled. "I don't know if I can," she whispered. "You can," Adam said. "You survived alone for years. That is strength. This is just learning how to use it." He showed her a simple stance, something humans call defensive posture. Lyra copied him, but she wobbled. Her legs were thin, and her muscles were not trained for fighting. Adam did not scold her. He moved slowly beside her, adjusting her position gently. "Bend your knees a little more. Keep your shoulders back. Focus on balance." She tried again. This time, her legs felt steadier. Adam nodded. "Better, much better." They practiced for hours. Lyra fell, stumbled, and almost gave up. But Adam never pushed her to quit. He said, "Every mistake is learning. Every fall makes you stronger if you get up." By the end of the day, Lyra could hold the stance for longer than she had imagined. She was tired, but she felt something inside that was new. Pride. For the first time, she believed she could do more than survive. The next day, Adam brought another human crew member to help. Lena Carter was a human woman who specialized in survival skills. She was smaller than Adam, but quick and clever. She smiled at Lyra warmly.
I hear you're learning to fight, she said. That is good.
"You will need it someday." Lyra blushed. She was not used to compliments. I hope I can do it," she said. "You will," Lena said confidently. "Humans survive because we try. We fail. We learn. You can too." Together they practiced simple movements. Lena showed Lyra how to dodge, how to roll, and how to stay calm when attacked. Adam watched, making small corrections and encouraging her. Slowly, Lyra began to understand that strength was not only in muscles, it was in focus, in patience, in seeing the next move before it happened. Not everyone was pleased by Lyra's progress. The aliens on the station whispered behind her back.
Why does the human care for her? One said. She is nothing.
He wastes time. Another laughed. Soon she will fail, and he will be embarrassed. Lyra heard the whispers at first. She felt the familiar fear that she was weak, that she would fail, that no one could care for her without losing patience. But then she remembered Adam's words.
Every mistake is learning.
Every fall makes you stronger if you get up. She decided to ignore them. She focused on learning. One afternoon, a small pirate ship arrived at the station. It was fast and armed lightly, just enough to intimidate the traders who sometimes stopped there. The aliens panicked. Most hid in corners, leaving the station defenseless. Lyra froze. She wanted to run, but Adam stood beside her. "Stay with me," he said. "Watch. Learn. You may need to act." The pirates began taking goods and threatening the station inhabitants. Lyra watched Adam carefully. He moved quickly but calmly, helping people escape and blocking the pirates from attacking the weaker aliens. His actions were precise, almost like a dance. Lyra noticed how he thought ahead, anticipating the pirates' moves. Then one pirate lunged at a small alien who had nowhere to run. Without thinking, Lyra stepped forward. She remembered the stances and movements Adam had shown her. She blocked the pirate with her arms, using her weight to push him back, The pirate laughed at her, expecting weakness, but she held firm, and Adam was immediately at her side, guiding her movements, correcting her balance, and encouraging her. Together, they forced the pirate to retreat. Lyra's chest pounded. She had never imagined she could do that. The small alien they saved looked at her with wide eyes, and Lyra realized something shocking. She had saved someone. After the pirates left, the station was quiet again. Lyra sat down exhausted, but her mind was alive. Adam sat beside her. "See," he said softly, "you can do more than you thought." She shook her head in disbelief.
I didn't know I could.
"You did," Adam said. "You just needed to see it yourself." The next few weeks passed in a similar rhythm. Adam and Lena trained Lyra. Every day she became a little stronger, a little faster, a little more confident. She learned to lift heavier objects, to move quickly without stumbling, to think ahead when facing danger. She learned that fear could be turned into focus. She learned that weakness was not a rule written into her body. It was something that could be challenged and changed. One night she stood on the observation deck of the ship, looking at the stars. Adam and Lena were repairing machinery below, but she felt different now. The stars seemed less frightening. The galaxy, vast and dangerous as it was, no longer seemed like a place that wanted to crush her. It was a place of possibility. Adam came up beside her quietly. "You're doing well," he said. "Do you feel it?" Lyra thought for a moment. I think so. I feel stronger." "Good," Adam said with a small smile. "This is only the beginning. You will be stronger than you imagine. And one day you may help others who cannot help themselves."
She looked at him, a little confused.
Help others? Yes, Adam said. Humans survive by helping.
We fight, we protect, we teach. Strength is not only for yourself, it is for others who cannot stand yet. Lyra nodded slowly. She had never thought of herself that way. She had always hidden, always fled, always waited for someone to save her. But now, she was learning that maybe she could stand for others. The aliens on the station continued to whisper. They watched Lyra differently now, with suspicion and unease. One of them, a tall male with red scales, muttered to another, She moves differently now. The human, he changes her."
Yes, the other replied, but she is still weak.
"She will fail eventually." They did not know that weakness was not a fixed thing. It was something that could be shaped, something that could be challenged, something that could be defeated. One evening, a small accident occurred. A storage room door had jammed and a group of supplies began to fall. Lyra was nearby. Without thinking, she ran and pushed the supplies away, saving a human crew member from being hit.
Adam arrived moments later.
He looked at her, impressed. "You did that instinctively," he said. "Good reflexes." "That is what I mean when I say you are learning to survive." Lyra felt a rush of pride. For the first time, she understood the power of her own body and mind. She had learned from humans, but it was her own strength that made her act. The training continued, but now Lyra began to initiate movements on her own. She asked questions, tried new techniques, and even suggested strategies. Adam and Lena watched her with quiet pride. "You are learning faster than I expected," Adam said. I want to be able to protect myself," Lyra admitted. "And maybe others too." Adam nodded. "That is the right attitude. Humans survive because we protect those we care about. You can do the same." The first real test came sooner than expected. A larger group of pirates returned, armed more heavily than before. The station inhabitants panicked. Lyra felt fear, but she remembered Adam's words. Fear can be turned into focus. She moved beside Adam and Lena, ready to face the danger. This time, she did not freeze. She helped block the attackers, guided trapped inhabitants to safety, and even disarmed one pirate using techniques Adam had taught her. Each action built her confidence. Each success strengthened her belief. When the pirates finally left exhausted and beaten, the station inhabitants stared at Lyra in disbelief. The alien who had once mocked her bowed slightly. "You fought well," he said. Lyra did not smile. She was tired, but something inside had changed forever. She had survived. She had fought. And she had learned that humans, while strange and unpredictable, could teach more than survival. They could teach strength, courage, and belief. That night she looked out at the stars again. She knew her journey was only beginning. The galaxy was dangerous. There were still threats and enemies she could not imagine, but she was no longer the weak alien woman who hid in fear. She had learned from humans, and slowly, she was becoming someone to be reckoned with. Lyra woke early the next day. She could hear the low hum of the station as other aliens moved about, doing their routine work. She had been awake many times before, but today was different. Her body felt stronger. Her mind felt sharper. The small victories of the past weeks had built something inside her she had not felt in years. Confidence. Adam was already in the training room when she arrived. He smiled, noticing her determination. "Ready for today?" he asked. "I think so," Lyra said. Her voice was quiet but firm. She wanted to show she could handle it. Adam led her through the drills. Today was not just about balance or defense. Today, he said, she would learn movement in combat, how to anticipate, how to respond, how to strike when necessary. Lyra had watched humans in the past, and their movements seemed unpredictable, but there was a rhythm to it. Adam began slowly, showing her simple motions first. Lyra copied him carefully. Her first attempts were clumsy. She stumbled, her arms too slow, her legs too stiff. Adam adjusted her posture, corrected her angles, and reminded her to breathe. "You are trying to force it," he said. "You need to move with your body, not against it." She tried again. This time, she felt it. Her limbs flowed with a strange coordination she had never known. Adam nodded approvingly. Better. Much better. Lena joined them halfway through the session. She brought with her some equipment and small obstacles designed to challenge reflexes. "Today you will learn to move under pressure," Lena explained. "You must think, react, and adapt." Lyra felt a knot of fear. She had never imagined herself in danger willingly. She had always been the one hiding, but Adam's presence steadied her. "I can do it," she whispered to herself. The exercises began. Small dummies were thrown toward her. Lyra ducked, twisted, and sometimes even struck back. Lena clapped her hands when she did something correctly. "Good reflexes," Lena said. "You are learning fast." Hours passed. Lyra's muscles ached, but she did not stop. She fell many times, but each time she got up. Her body and mind were learning a rhythm that she had never experienced before. She began to notice small changes. Her breathing was steadier. Her eyes were sharper. Her reactions were faster. One day while practicing, a loud alarm sounded, but a group of smugglers had attacked a nearby station outpost. The news spread quickly through the small network of ships and stations. Most aliens panicked, unsure what to do. Lyra froze for a moment. Fear surged inside her. Adam saw it and placed a hand on her shoulder. "Remember what we practiced," he said. "Focus. Move with purpose. You can do this." Lyra took a deep breath. She followed Adam and Lena to the observation deck. From there, they could see the distant attack. Small ships moved aggressively, taking control of the outpost. Innocent traders and aliens were in danger. Lyra felt a strange pull in her chest, a mix of fear and responsibility. Adam whispered, "You will help. You know what to do." She nodded. She did. They boarded a small shuttle and flew toward the outpost. Adam guided her through the controls, but Lyra began to anticipate movements herself. She suggested maneuvers, small tactical decisions that allowed them to avoid detection. Lena watched her with surprise. "You are thinking like a fighter," Lena said quietly. "Not many can do that so quickly." When they arrived, Lyra saw the chaos. Small alien traders were being cornered by smugglers. Lyra's pulse raced. Adam reminded her to stay calm, to move step by step. She took a deep breath and followed his instructions. But she also added her own. She led a small group of traders to a safe corridor, using tactics she had never imagined she could know. One smuggler lunged at a trader. Lyra stepped forward. She blocked the strike, twisted, and guided the attacker away. Her body moved with confidence he had not known existed. The traders stared in amazement. Ghislaine's eyes were sharp. Her movements were precise. She was no longer weak. She was acting like a protector. After the skirmish ended, the traders gathered around her. One, a small alien with green scales, said quietly, You saved us." "How?" Lyra looked at him. She did not know what to say. She had only followed what Adam and Lena had taught her. And yet, she realized it was also her courage that had guided her. She nodded silently. When they returned to the ship, Adam looked at her proudly. "You did well," he said. "Better than I expected." Lyra smiled faintly. She felt tired, but alive. For the first time, she understood that her life could have purpose beyond hiding. She could protect, defend, and fight. She could be more than weak. The following weeks were filled with training and missions. Adam and Lena continued to challenge her. She practiced hand-to-hand combat, learned to use small weapons, and trained her mind to stay alert under pressure. They taught her strategy, how to think ahead, and how to use her instincts. Lyra also began to explore her own strengths. She discovered she was fast, more agile than most aliens on the station. Her senses were sharp, able to detect movements that others could not see. She learned to combine human strategy with her natural instincts, creating a unique style. Other aliens began to notice. Whispers spread through the station.
"Look at her," one said.
"She moves differently now. She is learning from the humans." Another replied, "It does not matter. Humans cannot change her. She is still fragile."
"But Lyra ignored them!"
She focused on her training, on improving herself. Fear no longer controlled her. She made small plans, practiced defensive maneuvers, and learned to trust her own judgment. One day, while Adam repaired a damaged system, a group of smugglers attempted to ambush the station again. They were larger in number and better armed than before. Most aliens panicked. Lyra's heart raced. Fear surged, but she remembered Adam's words. Focus. Move with purpose. She took the lead alongside Adam and Lena. They guided the station inhabitants to safety, blocked attackers, and turned the battle to their advantage. Lyra even managed to disarm one smuggler, using techniques Adam had taught her. Her confidence grew with each successful move. By the time the smugglers retreated exhausted and frustrated, Lyra was no longer the small, frightened alien woman she had been weeks ago. She was a fighter, alert and strong. Aliens who had once mocked her stared in disbelief. Some bowed slightly, acknowledging her courage. Others whispered nervously. Adam placed a hand on her shoulder. "See, you are becoming someone who can change the way others see you. But this is only the beginning." Lyra looked at him and nodded. She felt a strange mix of pride and responsibility. She had learned to fight, to think, and to act. But she also understood that strength was not only for herself, it was for others who could not defend themselves. That night, she stood on the observation deck again, looking at the stars. She had survived alone for years, and now she had allies, skills, and courage. The galaxy was still dangerous, but she felt ready. The small victories of the past weeks had transformed her. She was no longer invisible. She was no longer weak. She was learning to become someone the galaxy would fear if she chose to be. Adam came to stand beside her quietly. "You have changed," he said, "and the galaxy will notice soon. Others will underestimate you, but that is when your strength matters most." Lyra nodded, her silver hair glowing softly in the starlight. I want to keep learning. I want to be ready for anything." "You will be," Adam said. "You have the mind, the heart, and the will. The rest comes with practice." She smiled faintly. For the first time in her life, Lyra believed in herself. Not because anyone told her she was strong, but because she had seen it herself. The station and nearby systems began to hear stories of the alien woman who moved with the confidence and skill of a fighter. Humans had trained her, but she had made it her own. Whispers of the small alien who fights like a human spread slowly. Some laughed, thinking it impossible. Others watched cautiously, unsure what to make of her. Lyra did not care. She focused on learning, training, and preparing. Her mind was sharp, her reflexes quick, and her courage steady. Each day she grew, building the foundation of a warrior. She had survived alone for years. She had faced fear, weakness, and doubt. Now she was learning to face the galaxy itself. The transformation had begun, and for the first time in her life, Lyra felt ready for whatever came next. The galaxy was quiet for a few days, but Lyra knew peace was fragile. She had learned that danger could appear without warning. The training with Adam and Lena continued, but the sense of calm never lasted long. One morning, a warning arrived from a nearby colony. A fleet of slavers was approaching, ships moving fast, weapons ready. The colony was small, unprepared, and weak. Many inhabitants would not survive if help did not arrive soon. Adam studied the reports. "This is serious," he said, his voice calm but tense. "We need to act fast. Lyra, are you ready?" Lyra felt a rush of fear. These were not small pirates. They were organized, experienced, and dangerous. But she did not hesitate. She had trained for this, even if the scale was bigger than anything she had faced before. "I am ready," she said.
Her voice was steady. They boarded a small but fast ship.
Adam handled the controls. Lena prepared their defensive systems, and Lyra watched the approaching fleet. Her mind raced as she remembered all the lessons. Strategy, patience, focus. She had to guide her actions carefully. When they arrived near the colony, the slaver ships were already firing. Buildings exploded and alien inhabitants ran for cover. Lyra's heart pounded, but she stayed focused. Adam whispered, "Stay calm. Watch. Decide."
You can help them.
Lyra stepped forward. She had learned to act under pressure, but this was her first large-scale battle. She scanned the area, noticing weak points in the enemy formation. Using her instincts and human tactics, she suggested maneuvers that allowed their small ship to block the slavers' fire and protect civilians. Lena watched her in surprise. "You are thinking clearly," Lena said. "Most humans would panic in this situation." Lyra focused on guiding civilians to safety. She helped alien families move to secure shelters and even blocked a small group of slavers trying to enter a building. Her body moved automatically, instinct and training working together. She had become fast, precise, and confident. Adam noticed her skill and pride welled in his chest. "You are ready for more," he said quietly. "But this is only the start." The slavers were clever. They regrouped and attacked the colony from another direction. Lyra anticipated their moves. She called out instructions to Adam and Lena, guiding their ship to cut off the attackers and protect the weakest points. Each decision she made kept more aliens alive. Then one of the slaver captains noticed her. A large, armored alien with sharp claws and glowing eyes directed his ship toward Lyra's position. His crew laughed, assuming the small alien woman would be helpless. But Lyra did not back down. She tightened her grip on the ship's controls and focused her mind. Adam looked at her. "You can do this," he said. "Trust yourself." Lyra nodded. She remembered the first time Adam had helped her. She remembered falling and rising. She remembered every lesson, every struggle, every small victory. Now it was her choice. She would act. The slaver ship attacked, but Lyra moved with precision. Using speed and careful maneuvers, she dodged weapons, led the ship into defensive positions, and created openings for Adam and Lena to strike. Her instincts guided her. Her mind calculated movements faster than anyone expected. When the slaver ship tried to board the colony, Lyra made a daring move. She directed a small force of drones and automated defenses to trap the attackers in a narrow corridor. The slaver captain roared in frustration, realizing he had been outsmarted. Lyra's strategy worked perfectly. Several slavers surrendered, others fled, and the colony was saved. The inhabitants looked at her in awe. She had come as a small, weak alien. Now they saw someone who fought, who led, who protected. Her reputation began to grow instantly. Back on the ship, Adam and Lena praised her quietly. "You did it," Adam said. "You led the defense. You made decisions. That is what makes a warrior." Lyra felt a strange mix of pride and exhaustion. Her body ached, but her mind was alive. She had faced fear, danger, and impossible odds, and she had succeeded. She realized she was no longer the weak alien woman from the station. She had become someone who could change outcomes, protect others, and even inspire fear in those who thought her helpless. The news spread quickly through nearby systems. Traders, colonies, and even minor fleets spoke of the alien woman who fought like a human. Whispers carried her name. "She is human-made," some said. "No, she is dangerous," others replied. Even the humans fear her skill. Lyra did not mind. She focused on learning more, training more, and helping more. She understood that her actions now had consequences. The galaxy was vast, full of threats she could not imagine, but she had proven that she could face them. The next few days were spent reinforcing the colony. Lyra helped rebuild damaged buildings, coordinate defenses, and train civilians in simple survival skills. She found that teaching others gave her strength too. Her confidence grew. Her courage became second nature. She moved without hesitation, acted with precision, and guided people with authority. Adam and Lena observed quietly. "She is becoming a leader," Lena said softly. "Not many humans or aliens reach this stage so quickly."
Adam nodded. "She is learning more than skills."
"She is learning to trust herself. That is what makes someone truly dangerous in the galaxy." The aliens who had once mocked her began to look differently. Some kept their distance, afraid. Others whispered nervously among themselves. They realized she was no longer weak. She was no longer alone. She had allies, skill, and courage. One day, a new challenge arrived. Another group of slavers attempted to capture a nearby outpost. This time they were larger, better armed, and more aggressive. The colony where Lyra had proven herself earlier sent word. They needed her help again. Lyra did not hesitate. She gathered a small team, including some of the trained civilians, and prepared for battle. Adam and Lena supported her with tactics, equipment, and advice, but Lyra took the lead. She planned every move carefully, anticipating the slavers' attacks and weaknesses. When they engaged, the battle was fierce. Lyra moved like a shadow, striking quickly, guiding others, and using every skill she had learned. The slavers were surprised. They had expected a small, weak alien woman. Instead, they faced a strategist, a warrior, and a protector. One slaver ship tried to break through their defenses. Lyra directed the team to intercept it. Using speed, timing, and clever positioning, they disabled the ship's engines and forced it to retreat. Her team followed her orders flawlessly, trusting her decisions. By the end of the battle, the slavers were defeated. The outpost was safe. Lyra had led them to victory, and her reputation grew even more. Aliens and humans alike spoke of her skill, courage, and leadership. She had become more than a fighter. She was a symbol of hope and fear, depending on who watched. That night, Lyra stood on the observation deck again, looking at the stars. She remembered her life before Adam had found her. She remembered fear, weakness, and isolation. Now she felt strength, courage, and purpose. She understood that humans had given her the lessons, but she had made them her own. She had become someone the galaxy would notice. Adam joined her quietly.
"You have changed," he said. "The galaxy is taking note."
They will either fear you or respect you, depending on their choice, but they cannot ignore you. Lyra nodded. I never imagined I could be like this," she said.
"I thought I was weak forever."
"You were never weak," Adam said. "You only needed to see it yourself."
"Humans can show the way, but the strength comes from within." She smiled faintly. "Then I will continue. I will grow stronger. I will protect those who cannot protect themselves. Adam placed a hand on her shoulder. That is why you will become feared and respected. You will be the warrior they never expected. Lyra felt a surge of determination. The galaxy was dangerous. There were still threats, enemies, and challenges ahead. But she was no longer small, weak, or invisible. She had become someone to be reckoned with, a warrior born from survival, human guidance, and her own will. The whispers about her spread farther. Colonies, stations, and traders spoke her name in awe. The alien woman trained by humans, they said. She leads, she fights, and she protects. Enemies who had once ignored her began to plan more carefully. They feared underestimating her. She had become more than anyone expected. The galaxy had learned a new truth. Under human guidance, even the forgotten could rise to power, courage, and strength beyond imagination. And Lyra knew her journey was only beginning. The stars burned cold and bright as Lyra prepared for the next challenge. The galaxy had heard stories of her skill, of the small alien woman who moved like a human fighter, who led others into battle, who protected the weak. Some whispered admiration. Others whispered fear. Lyra did not care for the whispers. She only cared for the people who needed her help. Adam and Lena stood beside her as she reviewed the reports. A large slaver fleet, far bigger and more organized than any she had faced before, was approaching a cluster of isolated colonies. Entire systems could fall if they did not act. Lyra's chest tightened at the thought of innocent lives at risk. She had trained for this, but the scale was immense. Adam placed a hand on her shoulder. "You are ready," he said softly. "You have everything you need. Trust yourself. Trust your team." Lyra nodded. Her silver hair gleamed in the dim light of the ship. She felt fear, but it was no longer paralyzing. It was a tool, a reminder that she could act. A signal to focus. "We will protect them," she said quietly. "We cannot fail." They boarded their fastest ship, carrying supplies, weapons, and a small group of civilians trained in basic defense. Lena prepared automated systems while Adam studied the slavers' movements. Lyra's mind raced. Every tactic, every maneuver she had learned, every lesson from Adam and Lena. It was all here now, ready to be used. When they arrived near the first colony, the slaver fleet had already begun its attack. Ships moved aggressively, firing weapons and forcing inhabitants to flee. Lyra's heart raced, but she remembered every drill, every lesson, every small victory she had earned. She had grown beyond fear. She had become a warrior. Lyra directed the team calmly. "Block the southern approach," she ordered. "Set up defensive drones at the north gate. Civilian transports go behind cover immediately." Adam and Lena followed her commands. It was her strategy now. She moved among the team, giving instructions, correcting positions, encouraging the frightened. The small civilians she had trained obeyed, trusting her guidance fully. The slavers noticed her quickly. A large, black-armored ship detached from the fleet and headed straight for Lyra's position. The slaver captain sneered, expecting to crush the small alien woman. Lyra did not flinch. She adjusted their shields, calculated movement angles, and coordinated counterattacks. When the slaver ship opened fire, Lyra anticipated the attack. She maneuvered their ship, dodging blasts and directing drones to intercept incoming fire. She acted with precision, instinct, and speed. The slaver captain's crew grew frustrated, realizing they had underestimated her again. Suddenly, one of the colony's buildings came under heavy fire. Lyra made a split-second decision. "We protect the building. Move civilians now," she shouted. Her team followed her orders immediately. Lyra led the way, weaving through debris and dodging blasts. She reached the building and coordinated the evacuation, her movements fluid and confident. A group of slaver soldiers tried to board the building. Lyra acted without hesitation. Using a combination of martial training and clever tactics, she blocked their advance and guided civilians out safely. One slaver lunged at her, claws extended. Lyra sidestepped, grabbed his arm, and sent him tumbling to the floor. The other soldiers froze, astonished by her skill and courage. Adam watched silently, pride swelling in his chest. "She is not just fighting," he whispered to Lena. "She is leading, protecting, inspiring. She has become the warrior I knew she could be." By the time the first wave of slavers retreated, the colony was safe. Lyra's team cheered quietly, exhausted but alive. The colonists stared at her with awe. Some bowed, others simply watched in disbelief. She had faced impossible odds and succeeded, but Lyra knew this was only the beginning. The fleet was larger than anything she had faced, and more attacks were coming. She reviewed their resources and planned carefully. Her mind worked like a machine, calculating every possibility, anticipating every move. The next day, the main fleet arrived. Hundreds of slaver ships, armed and ready, moved in formation toward the colonies. Lyra did not panic. She had trained, she had learned, and she had survived worse odds before. She directed their defenses strategically. Drones, shields, and small fighter craft were positioned in layers. She assigned civilians trained in basic combat to secure points. She coordinated with Adam and Lena to ensure every maneuver was precise. Her calm confidence inspired the team.
Even the human crew noticed how natural she had become in command. The battle began.
The slavers fired relentlessly. Lyra moved among her team, directing attacks, repositioning defenses, and predicting enemy moves. Each decision she made saved lives. Each command she gave increased the team's efficiency. She was no longer learning. She was leading. One slaver ship broke through the outer defenses and headed straight for the colony's main structure. Lyra acted quickly. "Flank the ship from both sides," she ordered. Using speed and drones, the attackers were trapped. Lyra moved closer, analyzing weak points. With a precise strike, she disabled their engines, forcing them to surrender. The rest of the fleet watched cautiously. Word spread quickly. The alien woman was no ordinary fighter. She was a strategist, a leader, a force that even humans feared. The slaver captain realized he had underestimated her at every turn. Anger burned in his eyes, but fear had already taken root. Lyra did not fight for glory. She fought for the innocent, for the weak, for those who could not protect themselves. She moved with purpose, using every lesson Adam and Lena had taught her. Her mind, body, and instincts worked together seamlessly. By the end of the battle, the slaver fleet had been repelled. The colonies were safe. Casualties were minimal, thanks to her leadership. The inhabitants gathered around her, offering thanks, respect, and admiration. Some aliens who had mocked her before now looked on with fear. They realized she was no longer the weak alien woman they had ignored. Adam approached her quietly. "You have done more than survive," he said softly. "You have become someone the galaxy cannot ignore. You are a warrior." Lyra looked at the stars, breathing heavily. I never imagined I could be like this," she said. "I thought I was nothing. Weak. Invisible."
"You were never nothing," Adam said.
"Humans can teach, can guide, can inspire. But the strength comes from within. You found it. You made it your own." Lyra smiled faintly. For the first time in her life, she felt truly proud of herself. She had faced fear, impossible odds, an enemy stronger than herself, and she had risen above them. She was no longer invisible. She was a warrior. The galaxy began to notice. Traders, colonies, and even minor fleets spoke of her deeds. "The alien woman trained by humans," they whispered. "She fights, she leads, she protects." Enemies grew cautious. They could no longer underestimate her. Her reputation spread like wildfire. Fear and respect followed her name wherever she went. Despite her growing fame, Lyra remained humble. She focused on helping others, protecting the weak, and learning more every day. She knew the galaxy was vast and dangerous. She knew challenges would come again, but she was ready. Adam and Lena remained by her side, proud of how far she had come. "You have become more than I could have imagined," Lena said one evening. "I only did what I had to," Lyra replied, "but I will keep growing."
"I will protect more."
I will fight more.
And I will never forget what I have learned. Adam nodded. That is why the galaxy will fear you. Not because you are cruel or violent, but because you are unstoppable, smart, and courageous. And you inspire those around you to rise as well. Lyra felt a surge of determination. She looked out at the stars, imagining all the places she could go, all the people she could help, all the battles she could face. She was no longer the weak alien woman who hid in fear. She had become a leader, a protector, a symbol of hope and fear. The galaxy had learned a new truth. Even the weakest, the most forgotten, could rise with guidance, courage, and determination. Humans had shown her the path, but she had walked it herself. She had become a warrior the galaxy would remember. And as she stood on the observation deck, silver hair glowing in the starlight, Lyra knew this was only the beginning. The stars were dangerous, the enemies were many, and the future was uncertain. But she was ready. She had become what she had always feared she could not be: strong, confident, and unstoppable. The whispers of her name continued to spread. The alien warrior trained by humans, they said.
She is dangerous! She is unstoppable!
She is the protector of the weak. Lyra smiled faintly. That was enough. She did not need praise. She did not need glory. She needed purpose, courage, and the will to protect. And now she had all three. The galaxy had changed, and Lyra had changed it.